What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Oddshopper channel, coming to you with a Thursday edition of NBA Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Also great content over on X. Ended up having a really nice day over there. Talked through the Daniel Gafford play that got added to the card. 24.5 PRA plus 120. Oh, thank God he checked back into that game. I was sweating bullets there towards the end of the Minnesota game. And my Timberwolves won. Made that way closer than it needed to be in those last 2 minutes. Gafford went on a little bit of a run for them. But anyway, we cashed that one. Really nice lock there. The sad one, Keon Johnson had 10 potential assists in the game tonight. Finished with 3. Lose by the hook on 3.5 assists. That was another lock that I had. And Trae Young, under 3.5 threes. That was nice. But have a pick'em card in the underdog streets for the people in the premium Discord tonight. In addition to Peyton Pritchard, he is our boy, and everybody's out for Boston, and everybody's out for the Clippers. I swear to God, if they do not cover 8.5, I'm never, well, no, I'll come back on Friday. Yeah, I'll just come back on Friday. Until next time. No, we got to do the whole show. That's the problem. Producer Jacob, hi, hello, 50% off. We'll talk about that later. It's time to make some money. We start in Pally. Let's get to the picks. Oh, that's freaking adorable. Producer Jacob putting in that overtime. Spurs. It's a little French bag. It's a little French flag. Anyway, Victor Wembanyama. We all watched the Paris Olympics. It was probably my favorite basketball memories I can remember ever. Like, I know that might be a little hyperbole to some people, but I was in New York City for about 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks while the Olympics were going on. I was out there for a couple of different things, got to hang out with a lot of the guys over at Odd Shop where we all met up, went to a couple of concerts, got to go have some beers. A good time was had, but met up with my sister-in-law over in New York City and got to go watch the finals at a bar in New York City where it was a lot of Parisians hanging out for the French-American war that was the finals, the gold medal game. I loved every second of it, but we haven't seen Victor Wembanyama play basketball over in France since then. I'm super excited. This starts really, really early, 2 p.m. Eastern time, 11 a.m. Look at that. That's math. Pacific time. The San Antonio Spurs plus 2.5 taking on Indy. Just thought I'd share everything else there because it's really fun and I love basketball. I also love Victor Wembanyama going over there, and it's hard for me to really imagine betting on a ton that is just like single game parlaying everything together and figure out, like, I would obviously lean towards San Antonio if you made me do anything, but I want to just lean towards Victor Wembanyama. Do you know how loud it's going to be every time he touches the ball in Paris? Do you understand how much they love this guy? And they're going to play 2 days later, same teams. I'm excited to watch this one for sure. Plus, it's always more fun during the day being at work, putting in the work, going through projections, updating Odd Shopper, going to Portfolio EV, doing all my day-to-day stuff, and having basketball on in the corner. And I'm going to be cheering for Victor Wembanyama in some capacity. I don't know how yet, but I'm going to put lean like in the corner here for 30 plus. He's at 26.5 points. I don't think it's any surprise that the Frenchman is going to be the person that we're highlighting, starlighting, centerfolding here in this corner. But I do think you want to be a little bit careful. This is more of like, I don't want to say entertainment bet because I'm all about making money. I'm here to put in the work for you. I'm tracking units. I'm doing everything that I possibly can to make you a profitable bettor as well. And I think Wemby is a little bit thin in terms of the price. It's a little bit inflated from the 24.5, 25.5 we've seen recently, but it's a good matchup here with Indy. It's going to be up in pace, 229. Pretty good spot. Miles Turner, a decent enough defender, but everybody's under 7 feet tall there for Indy. I don't know if you heard, Wemby's 7'4" and shoots 3. So maybe I look a little bit more in the 3-point market, but I promise you, hit me up on X at Eric Lindquist. I'm going to have a play from this game for sure, here and in the premium Discord. And by here, I meant X. That's at Eric Lindquist. You can follow me there. Portland +9 taking on Orlando. Now we start the main slate. Only game starting here at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Pacific time. And Orlando, I mean, it's the Walking Dead out there. A little bit of that. That was a pretty good Walking Dead impression, not going to lie. Cole Anthony, Jonathan Isaac, Jett Howard, Franz Wagner, and Gary Harris over on the Orlando side. And then on the Portland side, Anthony Simons, Tamani Kamara, DeAndre Ayton, Chris Murray. But as much as I was just talking about Wemby on the previous game, I have way more interest in actually putting my money where my mouth is with this play. It's Denny Avdia, and it's a rebound ladder. I don't know where this number opens at, but had some sharp people that I ended up tailing there up to 10 at plus 390. 10 plus rebounds for Denny Avdia. He ended up getting the start when you had a surprise scratch for Tamani Kamara. Now, he's still ill. He's still got a rumbly in his tumbly. But now you also get Ayton questionable. You also have Simons once again questionable with the low back soreness / does anybody actually want him at the trade deadline? But every time I rerun these numbers, again, you get Kamara. That's 9.6% total rebound rate. You get Ayton off the floor, 18.6% total rebound rate. And don't forget, Donovan Clingan is still out, who's the best rebounder on this basketball team. These are all gigantic, gigantic deals. Chris Murray also questionable, but I don't think many people care about that one. We'll say Paulo Banchero, minutes. I think we have an upward spiral there, but Orlando's been playing pretty poor ball. I think at home, though, they're a little bit of a different team. But Denny Avdia, rebound ladder. I'm going to pay attention to that news. I think we might end up on that one in a pretty considerable way. And that'll be up to around 10 rebounds if I had to guess. I doubt I get to the 12 tab on FanDuel.com. But Toronto, plus 7 going up against Atlanta. Atlanta on a back-to-back. We've got a couple of these interesting ones on a 9-game slate. And for just our third game of the slate, this is another prop I'm throwing out there. And I'm going to go prop. And then I promise all of the spread total people, hang tight. I got you covered. We're going to finish in style. We've got I've got 2 spreads that I'm on. I've got 1 total that I'm on. So we're going to go through it all. But this one is another prop because Scotty Barnes' rates, when you have Emmanuel quickly off the floor, are just spectacular. And kind of had an accidental click the other day. I didn't even talk about it whatsoever. But we've all done it before where you accidentally put something in a betting ticket because you're kind of playing with it. And all of a sudden I had Scotty Barnes over 6.5 assists just by accident. Thank God he hit it. And it ended up being a nice plus 320 payout for me total along with the other thing. Didn't even post it because I felt like such a dunce cap because this is supposed to be what I do professionally for 4.5 years, 5 years. But Toronto, I do think is the much weaker team here, regardless of the fact that it's on a back-to-back. Just got done playing Detroit here. Atlanta did. And Jalen Johnson played. I just get weird. I get a little bit weirded out in terms of backing Toronto plus 7, purely because one, there's lots of ways where they just downgrade somebody, whether that's a Grady Dick or an RJ Barrett or a Scotty Barnes or somebody out of the middle of nowhere as the trade deadline gets closer. That pops up from time to time. So you'll see a few less spreads from time to time if I think that there's very viable trade candidates on the floor. But the other part of this is Atlanta on a back-to-back. Again, I think you could get a resting situation for maybe a Jalen Johnson just because you just got back. You have Zachary Risachet. He's probably sad he's not in Paris. Probably sad he's not playing in this basketball game in Atlanta as well. But I'm going to lean towards Scotty Barnes over 36.5 PRA. Whereas Wemby, I'm looking at, firing something up there. And whereas Denny Avdia, I'm very interested in that rebound rate. I think Scotty Barnes, this one's probably going to end up being a pass when it's all said and done. But currently, before Atlanta props show up, my favorite one that exists in this game right now. And this is a prop I couldn't wait to place. I placed it immediately. I think it's going to close 26.5 or 27.5. We'll talk about what I'm talking about here in a second. But Milwaukee, fresh off of not being on a back-to-back, as their game in New Orleans got canceled because it's snowing in New Orleans. Because of course it is. We have fires in LA, snow in New Orleans. What's next? Heat wave in Maine in February. Be nice. Maine's beautiful this time of year. But Miami, they're the side that I'm the most interested in here with Khalil Ware. If you haven't watched this kid play basketball yet, you're kind of missing out. He is fun. He's got the second highest block rate behind Victor Wembanyama on the entire slate already. We're talking about a rookie with size and length, and I'm very happy that Eric Spoelstra just kind of realizes what he has in this guy because there are a lot of other coaches that would say, I can't start Ware next to Bam Adebayo. I can't have 2 7-footers vying back and forth. No, you absolutely can. Whether it was Cat and Rudy Gobert, it doesn't look normal at times, but against Milwaukee with Giannis and Brook Lopez, this is the perfect time to give Khalil Ware all of the run. And in fact, he got up to 39 minutes against Portland the other night, lost by 9. It wasn't ideal, but by no fault of his own, he had 2 more blocks, 20 and 15 to go along with it. Couldn't wait to place this bet. Now, does it suck that it's probably going to be Giannis Antetokounmpo guarding him a majority of the time? Sure, but a lot of other minutes where it'll be Brook Lopez. You'll get Bam Adebayo over on Giannis. And then also, because it's positionless basketball, Bobby Portis switching over as well when, he's the big alongside of Giannis or alongside a Brook Lopez. So this is a pretty straightforward one. Khalil Ware over 25.5 PRA. He went from plus 6,500 to plus 700 in the rookie of the year market. Unbelievable jump. I love this kid, though. I want to be on this one tomorrow. And last prop I'll bring up on the entire show. And then again, spreads, totals. I did all of the running. I did all the cool runnings. Feel the rhythm, feel the ride. It's bobsled time. Love that movie. It's so good. But Dallas, they're getting 11.5 here. Daniel Gafford, we'll talk about it here because he's the hero that was promised there over on X for all of the people. Again, at Eric Lindquist, you can follow me there. And Premium Discord, we'll talk about this after when we switch to the totals and props portion of the program. It wasn't planned that way. You've probably noticed I don't plan stuff like that, but we're going to break it up that way anyway. OKC, they're on a back-to-back here as well. SGA had to play a little bit harder, a little bit smarter, but they end up winning by 9 against Utah. Utah covers that one by a mile. They were way more competitive, but it doesn't surprise me a ton when you get John Collins back, when you get Lauri Markkanen back, when you get Colin Sexton back, Keontae George at times, and Walker Kessler. That's like 4.5 serviceable NBA players that we're looking at there, but Daniel Gafford double-double was plus 200 again today. These are the kind of things, again, I talked about over on X, where if you want to sprinkle in that, in addition, like I Hulk slammed that old over 24.5 PRA, plus 120 at BetMGM. You are the absolute goats. Appreciate you. Please don't limit me. But we are looking at Daniel Gafford double-double being around that range against OKC, one of the weaker rebounding teams, missing Isaiah Hartenstein, missing Chet Holmgren, playing lots of minutes to Jalen with a Y Williams at the center position. Daniel Gafford double-double is going to be a lean. Got to wait for the numbers. They're not going to drop until tomorrow morning. But if it's plus 210 or better, bet it immediately. Also, join this immediately. It's my premium Discord. Now, if you have Discord, you probably know how everything works. Super easy, super efficient, and you can add me for just $10 for your first week or $25 for your first month with code Lindy50. But let's just say that, hey, Eric, I really don't want to be in a Discord. I don't understand that. Well, it's super easy to get my plays with the Odd Shopper app. If you can go to the App Store, either Google Play Store as well, if you sign up at oddshopper.com with the Odd Shopper app, well, you can sign up for my Tails package, use this code Lindy50 at the link below when you sign up for it, and you can get everything sent directly to your phone by notification. I think most people at this point in time in the year of our Lord 2025 can fire up the old iPhone or the Android. I haven't seen an Android in a while, but if you're utilizing it, well, good for you. Lindy50 can be utilized over on that Odd Shopper app available on the Google Play Store as well. Would love to see all of you there. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. Would love to see you guys there. Lots of new faces here lately, and plus we're adding more pick'em cards here as we go along. Would love to see you alongside for the ride. Back to the plays we go. Next up on our boarding walk, the Sacramento Kings on a back-to-back. They started their basketball game here, 30 minutes ago? 24-20 here, Golden State. Come on, Golden State. Let's cash a ticket here. Plus 8.5. Got some closing line value. In fact, we got closing line value on every single play, but I mean, the Boston one was Hulk slam lock at minus 8.5. Hopefully that one just has a normal run out. Win by 10, I swear to God, with Tatum and Brown on the floor and no Harden, no Powell, no Kawhi, no Zubats. I swear to God if they don't cover. But anyway, it is what it is. I'm not the one playing the game. I'm just the one betting and trying to get ahead of the movement and trying to get you positive EV bets. And that's what this is. The under of 240.5. There are trends. I'm not a big trends guy. You probably know that by now. There's a lot of fanciful, he's done this in the last however many this. But I do think with Malik Monk coming back from injury, I do think with the trade deadline approaching and Sacramento having to make some major decisions on their team, while they're fully healthy entering this game, unless something happens in this Golden State game, there's a rest candidate here and there. And if you get it with Malik Monk or De'Aaron Fox or Domantas Sabonis trying to duck Jokic, well, then you're really looking good here on the under of 240.5. I think 7.5. I think it's kind of got it baked in to maybe have like half of a stud of Sacramento sitting. Now, you want to call DeMar DeRozan just kind of average at this point in time. Sad to say it's kind of true, but either way, Russell Westbrook in the starting unit. I know he's pushing the pace. I know him and Jokic have had a great rapport, which I did not expect entering the season. I'm a huge Russell Westbrook fan. Most people are, but thought the last couple of years he had really lost it from a real life perspective. Change of environment can do us all good. Sometimes you just need to move. You need to get in your car. You need to go drive to the mountains. You need to breathe in that mountain air. And then you're going to bet under 240.5 because then you'll win a bet. 3 games to go. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Golden State, the other part of that Sacramento game going on Wednesday night, taking on the Chicago Bulls. And this one I definitely don't agree with. Again, we backed Golden State here against Sacramento in this spot, and yet plus 3.5, Golden State on the back-to-back in Chicago. They've been on this long road trip out here on the West Coast. They've found ways to win basketball games. Portland, they ended up having that nice win against the Lakers the other night. The Clippers it was. I just look at this Chicago Golden State matchup, and I see a number of different pieces on the Chicago side that are back in action. Now, Kobe White is questionable. It would be good to have him in. And Ayo Dosunmu, we know, a lot better at the old defense than a Josh Giddey, but considering Steph Curry, we'll see how things run out here against Sacramento, but I mean, he's been dinged up. He's had the ankle issue. There's ways where he ends up sitting. They ended up starting Kevon Looney and Buddy Hield there up against Sacramento. Kind of a weirder lineup, but again, maybe they're going to get a couple of extra minutes here on Wednesday night. I don't know, Golden State, it just feels like without Kuminga, without Draymond Green, without Kyle Anderson, who has a chance to return here on the 23rd, and Brandon Podziemski, also a chance to return, I'm still a little bit hesitant thinking that they'll be back to like remotely full strength here. And there's always a chance. There's always that chance that Steph Curry, if anything gets dinged up here, people are pretty physical with him. We'll see. I think this should be closer, though, to 1.5. And that's really my disparity here with it. I like it. Give me Chicago plus 3.5. Think we get a good number here. Good closing number, especially if something ends up happening in this Wednesday night game. We're going to make this a very quick one. While I'm very excited from a real life perspective and the historical sense of Boston, we're talking about some of those great Larry Bird, Magic Johnson outings. Think about some of the great Paul Pierce versus Kobe Bryant outings of the early 2000s it is. I still don't really like betting this spot. We got Boston -6 against the Lakers. Boston on a back-to-back. Notice how many back-to-backs we're covering here, and it just gets a little bit thin. Now, you got some weird seedings there by the old Boston side. I think it was maybe a little gamesmanship. They were like, oh, Clippers, you're going to rest everybody. You want to kind of sit out everybody? I guess we'll take a break, and we'll park the old bus here with a couple of these guys on Wednesday night. Still, it's a little uncomfortable knowing that can be something that just changes on a dime. Al Horford, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis all out. That's a front court that is not made to go up against Anthony Davis. Now, I do think Kristaps Porzingis and Al Horford play in this game if you made me answer that question. But considering it's like illness and like weirdness, and you can never really tell what's real and what's fiction here, I guess what? They put in the injury report for Al Horford, left big toe sprain. For Drew Holiday, right shoulder impingement. These are actual injuries. No, there's chances for them to go out and sit. And again, it was an illness with Kristaps Porzingis. Definitely leaning towards him being in against Anthony Davis. But otherwise, Anthony Davis, points prop you might want to jump on in the morning when you wake up. If any way, shape, or form, Boston has those guys questionable on the injury report. But for now, we're going to call it Lakers leaning +6. Not a big fan of betting against Boston. I've done it a couple of times. Not always super successful. 3-2. 3-2 is it's way better than I thought it would be. Why have I bet against them 5 times this year? Well, they get some wide numbers. That makes sense. Like double digit +17.5 garbage. I just was surprised clicking on that. Let's click on one more thing. My lock of the night. Back-to-back nights. My favorite play by far, exists in the last game of the night. The Washington Wizards taking on the Los Angeles Clippers, 12.5. Now, here's the thing. The Clippers are on a back-to-back, but not really. This is not your normal everyday backyard back-to-back. And I was paying very close attention to this spread when it was opening because I had a feeling I was going to be jumping on it very early. And sure enough, 12.5. That is a terrible opening number when it should be closer to 15.5. But I digress, friends. Some people would say, oh, Eric, Norman Powell sat, Kawhi Leonard sat, James Harden sat, Nicholas Batum sat, Ivica Zubac sat. They could all be out again here tomorrow. Cool. Then the spread's like closer to efficient, and I'm basically flipping a coin. So Why wouldn't I be invested in me just believing that this was gamesmanship where they punted against Boston, knew Kawhi would only be available for one end of the back-to-back? And if you've watched Kawhi in like his 24, 26 minutes he's been playing lately, he looks back to normal. Please stay healthy, one-time dealer. I know that's almost impossible for him at this stage of his career, but it would be awesome here for the Clippers. I've got them closer with Kawhi. If they had everybody in closer to 17, I'm going to middle this a little bit and say that maybe you get Zubats resting. Maybe you do get Kawhi just having 2 days off, considering they probably don't need Kawhi in order to go and trounce Washington. But they've got a day off in between on Friday. Friday, there's only 3 games going down, and then everybody plays Saturday besides Oklahoma City and Portland. So looking ahead to the NBA schedule, I think the Clippers just end up torching Washington with a full-strength basketball team. Clippers minus 12.5. Not your everyday back-to-back. Not, 4 of your main 5 guys sitting here. It's just, I would say their 5 best players: Norman Powell, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Ivica Zubac, and Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn, what he does defensively is good enough. Those are your 5 best players. Unbelievable stuff here from the Clippers. And that does it for a nice edition here, Thursday edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. 9 up, 9 down. Head to the comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board for this lovely little slate we have before us. Had to fix my hat. My hair looked like absolute dog doo-doo. I need to go to bed. Lindy50. Sign up down below. Would love to see you guys there. Plays got posted here just now in the old premium Discord. Would love to see you guys there. Until next time, producer Jacob, thank you so much. I'm Eric Lindquist, Lindy, as some others would call me. Best of luck in the NBA streets on Thursday.